everyone, and a very windy Tuesday it is, coming to you with this week's Tuesday tip from my garden. And why are we in my garden, you may ask? Well, simply put, in order to know how to nurture what's growing in your garden, you have to know what you planted. So squash, for example, needs to be nurtured one way, whereas kale and carrots and beets all need different kinds of nurturing. So in order to most effectively grow and develop and reinforce your brand, we have to know what brand it is that we're developing. So to begin all of that, we have to go all the way back to square one and start with a very important question. That question is why. If you spend time with a small child, you will hear that question over and over and over, and the question is why. Why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? Why do we have feet? Why do we put shoes on our feet? Why is it dinner time? Why do I have to go to bed? They use this one question to assimilate their knowledge of everything that they've yet experienced, and their entire understanding of their known world is based around the question why. And while it can drive us as adults sometimes a little crazy, why do we stop asking that question when we decide to launch businesses and take on these amazing endeavors? Why do we stop asking the question that was the basis of all our understanding from the very beginning? One of the most powerful books that I've yet read, and actually one of the most powerful talks I've ever heard, was by Simon Sinek, and it's on his theme, Start With Why, which takes us all the way back to this. And the premise of that book, which I heartily recommend if you have not yet read it, is that people don't buy what you sell, they buy why you do it. And they don't even buy how you do it, they buy why you do it. And that all goes back to what you believe, and what you believe stems out of who you are. So those are all very, very deep questions that we can get into more in depth another time. But for the sake of today's Tip Tuesday, I want to start with the first part of that, and that is why. I watched a talk on Creative Live last summer, and they challenged us. It was all about overcoming obstacles and things, but to start with why. Why is it in this case that we were being held back? And then they said, okay, now that you have that answer, ask yourself why about that answer. And then ask yourself why about that answer, and why, and why, and why, and why, and why. And to be honest, at first I thought this was getting a little ridiculous. Why are we asking ourselves why so many times? But they said that your first answers are probably not the real answer. When you get down to about answer 8 or 9 or 10, then you start getting to the root of the issue. So I decided I would try it. And I did. And to my complete amazement, they were right. My first answer didn't even scratch the surface of what the real issue is. And when the real issue was uncovered, then I could deal with it and overcome that obstacle. So going back to branding though, when you really, really dial in the why behind what you do, then you can establish who you are, because who you are stems out of why you are. And when I say why you are, I don't just mean that you fix computers or grow flowers or have a farm-to-table restaurant or any of those things, which are wonderful, but those are what you do. Those aren't why you do it. So I want to begin again in this unlocking the power of your brand. The very first place to start is to ask that question, why? And then ask it again and again and again and again, almost as if a 3-year-old were running your meeting. But I really want to encourage you to do this and write down your answer and take some time to really think about it, because it is one of the most powerful exercises that you as a business owner can do in this whole realm of branding. And we're talking way, way beyond any kind of marketing collateral here. We're talking about establishing your identity as a company, because from there, everything you say and do, who you work with, all of that is going to stem out of why you are who you are. So let's begin there this week. Let's begin with why. So tune in next week for next week's Tip Tuesday that will build on this. Come back with your answer, and join us for all of these episodes, because owning your own business is stressful enough. Growing your brand shouldn't be.